The front part I have not put anything yet, any of the straight lines, because one, I have to determine where I stop because it's a certain amount that has to be taken in, and then two, I also need to determine if I'm gonna do this type of boning channel that's supposed to be 3/4 of an inch. To give you perspective, this channel right here is like 1/3 of that. And the original garment has two of these. You have one here on the side and one here on the other. I do not know the specific reason why. Maybe it has something to do with support. I don't have anything that's 3/4 in size. So what I might do is I might just grab a bunch of zip ties and bundle them up and tape them together. And I'm gonna have to make a boning channel for this 3/4 size. I'm gonna make that channel and then I'm gonna continue on to make the final boning channels for the front because it goes at a slight weird skewed direction after this one's inserted. Okay, so I just tried on the Stays mock-up and I'm so happy with how it fits. I have a lot to do and a lot to fix to make the final one. But when I tried it on, it felt so magical. I literally felt like I was in a different time, and it's so different. Anything we wear today was awesome. What I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be making sure that I have all the correct marks. Over here, the front got marked, and I did a slight curve outward towards this direction to better support my bust. And down here, I'm going to finally cut out a new piece so that I don't have this center back seam and I just have one complete piece. However, I'm going to be reusing these two front and the shoulder straps for the actual garment. So I feel bad, but it's okay. It has to be done. So, a hurricane's on the way. I know I should not be smiling, but I'm a Floridian and this is an annual thing. I shouldn't say annual, it comes every you pretty much get a big hurricane every 2 years. So, am I worried? Not right now. I will be when the day arises, especially since, you know, they're saying it's gonna be a category 4 instead of a 3 now. It's fine, it's fine. I'll just be here, still doing college work in my house, and making my stays, because they're just so magnificent. I don't know if I'm gonna lose power, and if I lose power for a couple days after the hurricane, that means no sewing, unless I figure out what I'm gonna hand sew. I have finished the back piece, doing all the lines. I have a bunch of boning on the side because I took out a bunch from the old back pieces. This is right over there. These are the front pieces, and I am currently trying to figure out how to do these shoulders and how they're sewn on. Now, upon looking back at the original source, I've come to the realization that these shoulder straps actually look like they were part of the back piece, so that they were one piece entirely. So that's my next mistake, because all the patterns I have been using have it be that the shoulder strap is a separate piece. So what I am doing is I am taking this thread, I am driving it into the boning channel as far as my needle can go, pulling it out, and then snipping the thread. And I am repeating this process all the way down. And most likely I'll be doing it also in the back, because I have some loose threads back here too. Once I am done doing this line, I'm going to go ahead and take this to the machine and sew the diagonals so that I can start inserting the leftover bones in here. This is not sewn down, this is just pasted down with very, very long stitches. I have my sanding block, my masking tape, a ruler, my tape measure, which I do not need, scissors, and of course, my zip ties. Now, Because these zip ties are super duper long, they have certain edges here, and on the other end as well I cannot use. So I snip this off. And you see, in comparison with zip tie, it comes off short. As it comes up short, I have to add on to it. I lay it down, I have a piece of tape. I make sure to put it close to the edge so that I can wrap it in the end without creating excess bulk. Then I have the other end and I put it right against each other. And I try my best to make sure that they're touching and that they're as straight as possible, because when I insert this bone, I do not want it curving on me. And the reason why I'm not putting one bone underneath the other is because that's going to create, as I've tried with my test ones, that's going to create bulk. And when I insert the bone, it's going to make it look like it has like a bump. Grab this end, and snip it, but in a curved way. Hold it against the channel I'm doing and snip it accordingly. Then I insert the bone. I've folded over the edges on the side, and this is going to be basted down by hand. Till then, I am working with the bones that go right here. I'm loving how this is taking shape. As you can see, it's really, really pretty. Here's what's happening. I have taken all these threads that were over here, and I have threaded them through the channels. I have also hand sewed this edge closed. So currently I am warming up my iron. Yes, it's so historically accurate plastic. And I'm going to be ironing these seams open so that when I have everything smooshed together, there is no bulk right here. Most likely I am not going to be turning over, like I did here, these edges, because there's going to be a bias strip that's going to go all around these stays. Most likely I'm going to just iron, baste everything together so it lays flat, and work a bit down here. Now what happened was, while I was sewing, I did the rookie mistake of not basting down the pieces together before I did the channels. Because I'm working with linen, the linen likes to stretch around. So there was a shift that happened with the fabric. I'm going to fix down here. It's not that big of a deal. I don't think it is. I have tiny little dots marked around. Okay, I have one marked right there, and I have one over here and another somewhere over here. And that's where the tabs are going to start. So I cut up to that mark. I may have to do some adjusting with the channels, and once that mark is there, that will have bias binding as well, because I'm actually kind of excited to do the tabs and to bind the tabs, because I've seen so many people do it and it looks like so much fun and also a bunch of stress, but it looks so pretty in the end. This is what it looks like once you have everything iron smooth. As you can see, it's nice and flat. Nice little pretty line. And when you fold this on top, oh, look at that. There's no bulk. I am currently wearing stays, as you can see. The only reason why this is not staying is, get it, staying. I'll stop doing it. The only reason why this is not sitting right here is because there is supposed to be a tie that connects here to here. All done and pretty, and yes, I'm excited. So I've just put in all the bones. So these stays are fully boned, and I was just trying it on real quick, pinning it together to see exactly how it fits and to see if there's anything else I need to fix. And then obviously I have to cut some of the slits higher so I can actually start working on the tabs, because I've been ignoring them for a bit and I should actually get more on top of this. Hello, good morning. It is a lovely morning, as you can see by the beautiful daylight pouring through my windows. I did get some sleep last night. I don't really recall how much sleep, because I'm pretty sure I fell asleep at like 1 in the morning. That's all dandy. And I look like a nerd today, which is also alright and all dandy. I have the stays. They are not sewn together. Do not be deceived, my friends. They are simply pinned because if you recall, last night I tried them on. So I'm going to remove these pins and I'm going to start sewing away these little dangles back into the channels. If you can even see them because it's like white on white. Which is fine. Get back at you soon. Pedro! Hey, Bubba. Pedro! It's a countdown for when the hurricane's gonna hit. It should still be off the coast, but it moved in a little bit more. So where I am, I'm still gonna get a bit of it. Oh my gosh, the news keeps saying underwater. Everything's a bit weird right now. I have hand sewn this front band here. This is where the eyelets are gonna go. And I am currently about to finally sew these pieces together. I don't feel like using the normal thread. I'm gonna go ahead and use the embroidery floss if it fits and sews. Luckily, I have this needle. I think it's for quilting. I'm going to be following along a couple videos to figure out exactly how to do this correctly. And yeah. I almost dropped it. Luckily, it landed in my army pants. Doing the bias binding for the top. These corners gave me so much craziness. It was a mess. It was like fraying everywhere and guts and ugh. But other than that, everything else is really pretty. Everything's done by hand. First stitch is not done by hand. What happens is I take it to the machine and then I go through everything first just to get it on first, and then when I flip over the material, that's when I start hand sewing. So I really am in love with this. And now to the tabs. These monstrosities. Do you see this? See all this, all these weird shapes? Yeah, they all gotta get binded like this. I just cut the tabs to size, like how deep they go in. Now I am taking out all the bones that were along those lines and cutting them shorter. And this time I'm being smart about it and using a ruler, because before I was being lazy bones and doing it by eye, and you cannot do this by eye when you strive for perfection. All I have left literally is finishing up all the cutting, make sure everything's the correct size, and then making bias binding. And once I attach the bias binding, all that's left is making eyelets, which will be pain and suffering. But eyelets, they're almost here. Here we go. My worst fear has become a reality. Seriously. These hairpin turns, it's death. A weird bunching happens when you do it, and I'm currently trying to solve the problem. I did not get any work done yesterday. On Friday night, I started, after I realized something I was doing was wrong, because I put this in the wrong side. So now I have to take all this off, and then sew it to the reverse, and then, yeah, it's fine. So once I figured out that I had to remove it, I was just dead and I had to go straight to bed. So today is Sunday. I have gone to church, done some homework. Now I'm gonna get back on top of the things I need to do. I am off to war and I am equipped with seam rippers, tiny scissors, like my crane scissors, and then my thimble armor, which is over there, and water for sustenance, and 80s montage training music, which I cannot play because I'm afraid of copyright. I have undone the bindings and stays. I'm going to re-iron them to make it easier for my life. And then I'm going to get to work and hopefully I am able to succeed. Now I want to put my 80s music back on so I can stay pumped. Doing lots of hand stitching right now. I've got this much done on the top side, because remember when I'm done with that side I have to go back and do the other side as well. That was my first mistake when I did this the first time. I'm in a much better place. Also, I'm loving how things look draped on top of the smock. It just makes it look so sassy. What is it, Paco? I'm sewing. Hey, I know I always say this, and I start videos by saying that I haven't picked up the camera in a while, and I haven't done things in a while. But today's one of those days. Let's get right into it, shall we? So, this is my grandfather's uniform. This is a patch. And he passed away on Friday. The funeral is this week. And I was just given this today, and I have to get it done tonight because he's going to be buried in his uniform. My grandfather was a veteran. He served his country well. And we're going to make sure that he's remembered that way. So I'm going to be sewing on this patch. I'm going to try to find a thread that matches the patch well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting this patch above this other one. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to try to do it by machine or if I'm just going to do it completely by hand. I'll figure that out as I do it, but for now, I'm just making myself some dinner, and I'm going to be working on this jacket tonight. I see that they already added some things already. When we found his uniform, when my grandmother pulled out the uniform on Friday when he passed away, we had some things missing, but there were some of his stuff in the pockets already. And yeah, we're putting back his uniform together so that he has everything that he got, and everything's gonna be in proper order. And all that's left is this patch. So I'm going to be sewing on the patch, and yeah. Yeah. I love my grandfather. He was a good grandpa. He took care of me a lot growing up. When my parents was working, I wouldn't go to daycare, I would go to my grandparents' house. And he would be there, and he'd always want to give me food.
President of the United States Army, and a grateful nation. Please accept this flag as a symbol of your loved one's honorable and faithful service.